Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino lists 10 ways Disney SpeedStorm could improve in early access. Now, in the time it's been out, I've already seen some positive changes. I do believe this game is trending upwards, at least in the near future, but things can always be better, and here's some ideas to facilitate that. No order of importance, just throwing them all out there. Number 1, add more characters even outside of seasons. I just looked and they are confirmed to be doing this at least once with the impending Season 1 release of Steamboat Willie, so that's awesome. Please don't make that a one-off. The themed seasons are an exciting prospect with a big drop of new characters from whatever that theme is, but given that the seasons are like a month and a half long, you can imagine the novelty isn't going to last the whole time. We're 2 weeks into Monsters Inc. You can't even unlock Randall yet unless you've gotten impossibly lucky with the season box because he's a 0.1% drop rate at anywhere from 2 to 8 shards. But even so, the fatigue is already setting in to the point where supplementary outside content would be a good idea to keep things fresh. Also, here's hoping the next season is Aladdin and we get him, Jasmine, Genie, and Jafar as racers. It's definitely time for some villains to show up in here. Number 2, less rubber bandy AI. Have you ever been racing against the CPU and thought, these dudes have absolutely no business keeping up with me? Yeah, me too. It seems like you gotta be a significantly higher level than them for you to get the sizable lead you've earned with your driving skills and or OP special abilities. They also seem to recover instantly from being hit. I'll explode someone's whole life with a mine or an evil jellyfish and 5 seconds later they're jetting right past me like it never happened. In private races you can set difficulties and whatnot, but when it comes to the AI and limited events and the season tours, they're like barnacles you can't scrape off your ass. Like, I don't care what else is going on, if I get 3 doors in a row with a 3-star Mike Wazowski whose ult is buffed by an epic crew member, Elizabeth Swann shouldn't still be hanging onto my coattails like a nervous toddler, you know? Basically, you should let the chips fall where they may. If a CPU gets demolished a few times and ends up way in the back, sure, give them a warp on occasion, but don't just artificially raise their speed until they catch up to me. That's dumb. Number 3, speaking of Mike Wazowski, fix Mike Wazowski. Alright, buckle up, because this is a long one. If you go to one of the multiplayer limited time event leaderboards, like the Scarer Cup for instance, and you look at the top 100, you will see a vast, endless ocean of Mike Wazowski. You won't look at it and be like, oh, I'm seeing a bit more Mike than anyone else. You will look at it and say, oh, I quite literally only see Mike Wazowski, with a couple of bells thrown in there now that they did the event where you can make the character you picked in the beginning a 3-star. I also picked Bells, so good for me. I have her as a backup in case Mike gets nerfed into the ground, but I don't want him nerfed into the ground. He just needs some changes, both positive and negative. Anyway, the reason you see him dominate every leaderboard and fill up half the ranked multiplayer lobbies is because Mike is unequivocally the best character in the game, mostly inherently, but it also doesn't hurt that he's one of the easiest to upgrade, so everyone's got a really high-level Mike. Possibly 3 stars, maybe even 4 if you got lucky. His ult spawns doors that, when entered by him, teleports him forward, and if you've got a lot of stars, it's a long distance forward. But even in addition to that, it's exploitable for even more distance if you set it up in certain places on certain tracks where multiple paths branch off and converge, to where you can make yourself miss the exit door initially and continue speeding through the door realm for an extra second and a half. I don't know how to do this reliably, but it's happened enough times in similar spots to where I'm 100% sure people are using it to shave even more time off those limited events. So this is a glitch that should be fixed. It's technically a nerf, but the corresponding buff was unintentional to begin with, so it shouldn't cause any upset. In fact, like I said, I want Mike fixed, and there are seemingly unintentional things that make him worse too, believe it or not. For one, this happens to me at least every other race, but I will activate his door and they just won't spawn. They're not just spawning on a different route, although that can happen too, and I don't mind it. I'll watch them try to materialize somewhere in front of me and then just disappear. Part of it could be other Mike doors interfering with my doors if we try to spawn them at the same time, in which case just move one of our sets of doors back or ahead, and sometimes they try to spawn over a gap or a grind rail and then vanish there too, in which case it should just spawn them in the nearest valid location. Mike Wazowski is broken, but he's also broken, so fix him. Number 4, more fair multiplayer time trial events. There have been some cool ones of these. I appreciate the extra rewards you get, the closer to the top percentage you can achieve. But in light of the fact that Mike is like the only valid character to use in these things, I want to see more fair ones like the Figment event currently going on, where everybody gets a regulated multiplayer Figment of the same level and has to use him to get the fastest time. There's no way to take RNG out of the equation, since getting attacked by the AI or not getting enough speed and boost weapon drops can just lengthen your time through no fault of your own, but more events where everyone has to use the same character would be a lot more competitive and fun if you don't have a super built Mike Wazowski and still stood a chance of getting higher than the top 20%. Number 5, more consistent rank up points in multiplayer. Last night I won 4 races in a row in ranked in Gold League with the same MPR in all 4 races. One of the races gave me 70 points, 2 of them gave me 40, and 1 gave me 30, and not in that order, all for the same first place finishes. I think there's a problem with people disconnecting before the race is over, and the resulting empty spots are lowering the amount of points the rest of the people get, but I'm not sure. Hell, I got 40 points for a 3rd place finish in the same rank, so I don't know what's going on with that, but getting 30 points after a win feels like a tremendous waste of time. There's also a chance that how far ahead you are has something to do with it, because the race I won that gave me 70 points was the only race where 2nd and 3rd were within a couple seconds of me. So you know how after the finish it shows the top 3 all driving next to each other? Well, it doesn't seem to do that if you're too far ahead, but that could be a coincidence. But yeah, there's some fishiness going on there, and it's demotivating to think that if I want more points, I should just park my ass at the finish line and wait for someone to pass me, and I definitely shouldn't be punished for other people lagging out or rage quitting mid-race. Number 6, improve classes that aren't speedsters. I've tried every class in this game, and speedsters are the only ones that feel like you're actually going places, which is ironic since they usually have lower top speed stat-wise. I'm not saying other classes can't win in head-to-head conflicts. Obviously I've lost to some tenacious brawlers and defenders, but there's a reason you can look at the top 100 of any time trial and see nothing but speedsters across the board. They're just better. Quick side note, I just remembered that time trials are separated by class, so only people of the same class can do them, but to me that just further illustrates the point that not all classes are created equal if the devs feel the need to segregate them. Other classes have to work harder. They have to specifically target speedsters and hold them back, and even a brawler with 3,000 top speed feels slower to race than a speedster with 1,700. They have an advantage because they're the only class besides tricksters that can take advantage of their special boost gaining criteria while they're already comfortably in the lead. Speedsters get boost whenever they touch a boost pad. Other classes only get boost from those if they're already boosting, and less of it at that. I'm talking about boost as in the meter, by the way, not a boost, as in them going faster when they touch it, which is a given. Tricksters can drift boost in the lead and do okay, but definitely to a lesser extent than speedsters. Brawlers would have to rely on hitting people with mines, if they even have them, and defenders can't do a damn thing to keep a lead because their boost gaining method is by being behind people. I realize there are different ways to win matches, besides just getting ahead forever and staying there. Like, defenders win by sticking to whoever's in first and then pulling ahead at the last second. Brawlers win by being as annoying as possible to everyone who has the misfortune of being next to them, and tricksters win by hoping everyone else is bad at the game. But still, speedsters definitely win out in my opinion, especially when it comes to getting exclusive rewards. Number 7, more ways to earn blue tokens. The starter circuits and ranked multiplayer are the only ways I've seen to get blue tokens outside of already having bought the Founders Pack, but you get so few of them in these modes that it really feels like scraps. A star up pack for a new racer unlock is anywhere from 1,000 to I think Sully was 1,900 or something, and you get blue tokens like 8 at a time, occasionally 20 if you get to certain ranks in multiplayer. I bought the standard edition, and in 2 weeks I've only been able to afford star up packs for Mike and Mulan. I'm saving for any future character I might want to invest in, but you've really got to be picky because these things are scarce as hell. So I think there should be limited time events here and there that let you win a good chunk of them, like a few hundred. I know this is the currency that's going to be buyable when the game goes free to play, but there are a few reasons why it would be nice to do it anyway. One, it ain't buyable yet, so we're out here letting nice things slip through our fingers if we didn't splurge on the Ultimate Edition, and 2, it's never good for a free-to-play game to not be free-to-play friendly. That's how you turn people away. Then all you'll have is an ocean of whales and dolphins, and there won't be any little fish for them to eat. Number 8, more shards in the universal boxes. A nice change I noticed after I took a few days off to play Jedi Survivor is that they lowered the cost of the multiplayer boxes from 500 to 300. That's very positive and good, and I like and appreciate that. And it's good to know you were willing to make that change because I hope you're willing to make another one. The season boxes for Monsters, Inc. are a good value, in my opinion. You get anywhere between 2 and 10 shards for crew members and 2 and 8 for racers when you roll, so there can be meager disappointments, but also big wins, which is the spirit of gacha for better or worse. The Universal Box does not have big wins. Everything is meager, no matter what you get, because the shards in there can only be from 1 to 3. You'll clap your hands and cheer when you get 8 Mike Wazowski shards in the season box. Meanwhile, the Universal Box, at its unlikely best, is like, here's 3 for Baloo. It's just not worth it, and for what it's worth, everything you buy with season tokens is too expensive, in my opinion. If I want 2 Bell shards, it costs me over 50,000, the equivalent of 15 Universal Box box pulls because you get 3 per pull, which in itself is still not worth it, so buying things outright feels like a more direct way to waste even more tokens. They did good strides with the multiplayer box, but the rest of the economy needs similar treatment. Number 9, more cart types / looks. I don't know about you, but I've never looked at a cart and been like, wow, cool cart. They all look the same, with just a different paint job, same body. I feel like the makes and models should be wackier in a Disney sort of way, like Mowgli in a banana cart, or Mulan in one shaped like a rocket. Even if you wanted to make them, like, hard-to-get skins or something, that would at least be another thing to strive for. Maybe even do multiple variations for each character, like Mulan could have an unlockable rocket cart, a sword-themed cart, and a Mushu-esque one. More reasons to grind is always good for games like this. Number 10, more interpersonal character interactions. I'm trying to hear these people talk to each other. When Hercules sideswipes Meg into oblivion, I want him to be like, sorry Meg, and for her to have a personalized retort like, you're on thin ice, Wonder Boy. Like right now these characters feel like they all exist separately from each other, like whoever you're playing as is just talking into the void and everyone around them is a bot with no situational awareness. It would be even cooler if the characters had lines they could throw at characters who aren't from their franchise. So you could see what Donald Duck might say to Belle, or how Jack Sparrow might react after passing ahead of the Beast. Disney Dreamlight Valley is already full of franchise crossover dialogue, so this should not be a stretch to implement. And of all the potential improvements I've talked about in this video, this is the one that would weirdly make me the happiest. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos with Randall hiding under your bed, and I'll see you guys next time.